Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now, friends, I hope you all doing good and doing well. So I'm joining with you from Winnipeg Monastery, as some of you already know. So during the discussion, I would like to share with you a sutta teaching. Sutta means a teaching that delivered by our Supreme Buddha. Those are said to be the original discourses Buddha explained and taught us and taught to the people at that time. And we will do that discussion based on a sutta. Actually, there is a sutta which is a bit long, so I will only share with you a certain part from that teaching. Actually, this is called Girimananda Sutta. So it is about a collection of meditations. Once the Bhante Girimananda, it was a name of a monk lived together with the Buddha. So this Bhante was fall into suffering, kind of illness or disease he had. The Buddha's attendant Bhante informed about that to the Buddha. So the Buddha say, you go and teach about these sutta, these meditations. So after listening to that, he would get recover from that illness. So as a blessing and also as a way to develop knowledge, that Ananda Bhante learned this teaching from the Buddha and explained it to the Girimananda Bhante, and then it said that the Bhante recovered from that illness. Okay. So it was a blessing when we hear a teaching from the Buddha. It makes us so much inspiration towards the Buddha. And in the same time, if we doing the meditations, so when we hear about the meditations, our mind becomes so inspired by that. So we feel joy into our heart so that we can let go painful bodily painful feelings. If there is a way that we can increase our joy in our heart, we can control some of the tiredness that we have in the body. So it is said that because this Bhante practiced these teachings, he has practiced those meditations. When he heard about those meditations, he said that he overcame the physical pain that he was going through. Okay. Actually, this was the incident that happened at that time. Thus have I heard on one occasion the Blessed One was staying in Savatthi. Savatthi means where the Buddha was residing at that time. It was a monastery. Savatthi was the city at Anathapindika's monastery. And on that occasion, Venerable Girimananda was afflicted with a disease, was suffering physically, and was gravely ill. Then Venerable Ananda went to the Blessed One, paid homage to the Blessed One, and sat down to one side. This is the moment where this Bhante said to the Buddha that this Bhante was ill. As he was sitting there, Venerable Ananda said to the Blessed One, O Bhante, the Venerable Girimananda is afflicted with a disease. He is suffering physically and is gravely ill. It would be good if the Blessed One would visit the Venerable Girimananda out of compassion for him. Ananda, if you go to that monk, Girimananda, and explain to him the 10 perceptions, it is possible that, having heard the 10 perceptions, he will be cured of his illness. Okay. So what did the Buddha say at that time? The Buddha said to the Ananda Bhante, go and talk to the Girimananda Bhante who is ill, and if you explain to him about the 10 perceptions, it is possible that having heard the 10 perceptions, he will be cured of his illness. Okay? Which 10 perceptions? Okay, what is perception? According to your Dhamma knowledge, what exactly is the perception? How do you say if something is a perception? How do you explain that?
Bhante, perhaps we perceive form,
Yes.
perceive the color and smells and
Yes. We normally perceive things through our eyes, through our ears. So it is the way that we recognize things, identify things, something like, let's say, for an example, that we distinguish our own possessions. Let's say, for an example, that I have a car so that I can know, oh, this is my car. So I perceive that separated from the rest of the other cars. So how I did that was the perception. Okay. So that is how we perceive. Let's say, for an example, that there is a, let's say, my house that I can easily perceive. Normally, among the crowd, I can perceive easily this is my friend. There can be many people, but I can easily recognize, perceive, filter out all the rest of the other people from my friends, and I recognize, oh, this is my friend. So that is the perception. That is the function of the perception. Okay. Actually, that was a mental function that we already have. So Buddha explained this. Buddha explained, okay, this is the power of your perception. Okay. Not only that we perceive the sights, but we perceive sound, smell, taste, touch, and even the mental thoughts. Okay. Without perceiving, we cannot think. We cannot start to think without perceiving those objects of our experience. So normally, let's say that I want to think about something, but first, without separating every other things, I cannot put my attention to that and think of that. Okay. So normally, let's say that I hear so many sounds in the background. So if I want to think something that I'm receiving from the background, first what I need to do is perceive that correctly. Oh, this is the bird sound. This is a car sound. Okay, this is a sound of a vehicle. This is sound of a human. So that we can easily perceive those things, and normally we perceive one thing at a time and then we think about that. Okay. So can you understand in your life? Does that make sense, friends? Yes. So, looking at our life, when we listen to the Dhamma, if we look at our lives and if we examine us, we can easily know, oh, okay, this teaching talks about this quality, this function of our consciousness that we perceive things. What do you think? Is the perception always correct or incorrect? Let's say that I hear a bark of a dog. Okay. Let's say I hear that. Then I recognize, okay, this is a dog's barking. But that might not true. Even though that I think it is a dog barking, then I will start to think why these dogs are barking when I was meditating. They should not make noises when I'm meditating. So I would make so many angry thoughts around after the perception. But that would not always true. Why? Because that sound might be coming from, let's say, from a mobile phone. Somebody put the ringing tone to the mobile phone as a dog's barking, for an example. So it can be contradictory to the real situation. How we perceive is not always true. Okay. Let's say I hear a ring of a bell, but it can be from an electronic device or it can be somebody's playing that. But we Buddha say that we have this difficulty to understand the perception correctly because it sometimes distort. You know, what is the simile for the perception according to the Buddha's teachings? How Buddha taught in the five aggregates about the perception? How you learned according to the Dhamma.
It's like a mirage, Bhante.
Yes, exactly. So the Buddha say the perception is like a mirage. What is the mirage? It is something that we see as true, but it won't be the true always. Let's say, for an example, that we see the mirage like while we're driving, we see there is water, but when we reach to that place, we don't see the water. And after that, we start to see it somewhere ahead. Then again, when we go there, we see there is no water. But it appears to us as always there is water. Now, the Buddha say the same way that we perceived things through our senses, our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. But all the things that we perceived are like a mirage. It might not be the way that we see it. For an example, that we perceive things as permanent, don't we? So normally we see the things as permanent. But are the things really permanent or impermanent? What do you think? Normally, the world that we perceive through our senses is a perception of permanence. We see, okay, everything is solid, everything is permanent, everything does not change. Okay. So, but when we see correctly, Buddha say, actually the things are not permanent, those are impermanent. Things are not completely solid, those are in a constant flux of change. What do you think? Sometimes we have like friends. Let's say, for an example, that I have a friend. Now, this friend might treat me good, and this person talk to me lovely things. This person talk to me kindly, and this person brings me gifts and tell me good words, and then thinking about helping me. So that is how I perceive, okay, this is my friend. But are all the friends stay the same way like that? No, sometimes we have some friends, they get angry and then they go. But in the first glance, when we saw them, we had this perception, okay, this is my friend. This person will be like this forever. This person's body, words, actions, emotions, they won't change. That's how we perceived. But later we see that they become angry at us and start to criticize us and they leave. Okay. So then now we think, okay, this is my, let's say for an example, this is my enemy. Now later the enemy again change. Again the enemy becomes a friend. Okay, so let's say enemy thinks of hurting us and doing bad things, and again the later the enemy we see, okay, that person will come back to me and say, okay, I will let go all the anger. Now you are my friend. So these things changing, but what we perceive is permanent. Okay, let's say for an example, our belongings, our possessions. Let's say I have a cup. So the first day when I see that, I see it as permanent. But sometimes it falls down and break. Then it's broken, impermanent. But we have our mental creation inside of our mind because of our constant thinking that we make it as permanent inside. Okay, we retrieve all the information through the senses, but in the mind we make it as permanent, contradictory to the reality, and we make so much greed or attachment or anger to the things what is impermanent. We make it solid inside. Okay, so then we suffer because we don't see it directly. In reality, we don't see it as it is. We don't see the things as they are. So what we see is that it is permanent. Okay, so we make ourselves a kind of a knowledge that this is permanent, this is permanent. Okay. But if we set aside all those distracted thoughts or the thinking thoughts that we think up, if we let go them, and if we can stop that, I mean, like if we can set aside all the notions, all the distractions that we carry, and if we think about the impermanence of the things, we can easily let go the distraction. Let's say, for an example, that somebody said us something a hurting word. So this very first time when we hear that sound, we perceive it as permanent. We think about that word. Okay, this person criticized me, so this is permanent. That's how we perceive that word. Okay. Now we make us in that mind, we make us in that thought that this is permanent, this is permanent. Okay. So if we can think according to the impermanence, we can easily detach from the words that we heard, and we won't make any distraction in our heart. So that is why there is impermanence meditation. We think sight is impermanent, we think sound are impermanent, the smell, taste, touch, and mental objects, all of these are impermanent. When we see it as it is, we can easily let go all the negative thoughts. We can let go all the distractions we carry. We can come to a peaceful mind if we see it as it is. Okay. Now, friends, now the Buddha say we need to see the impermanent things as impermanent. That is for let go that incorrect perception. Okay, that is why Buddha say there is the perception which is already distorted. Now what you do is that you think up correctly, and then when you apply the teachings correctly, you can let go those distractions. You can let go all the problems. You can let go all the negative thoughts which is coming to the mind. Okay, that is why the Buddha say develop meditation of impermanence. Then you will let go this negative perception that you have. Okay. Do you have any questions about these concepts that we talked just now about the perception before we move? Because it is very difficult topic. It's very difficult to understand this.
So my question is, right now, because we just had that wonderful meditation, for one, I'm in a state where this all resonates very easily and effortlessly with me, what you're saying, and it's very clear.
Yes.
However, as we're going about our everyday lives and we're under different influences,
Yes.
is there a specific, quick, sort of easy to remember practice that you recommend for, let's say, lay people or that monks or Bhantes practice to remind you? I understand, coming back to the breath is always something we practice, but let's say that, you're really deep in the chaos and your thoughts are distorted. Is there something we can do to remind us as we're going about our normal lives and at work with family, things like that? That would be great if there is anything.
Yes. Yes, actually, in those situations when we want to concentrate our mind, I would say developing and cultivating good thoughts, positive thoughts would definitely help us. Because even while we are working, that moment also we think some thoughts. But during our work, actually what we are doing is that we help people, don't we? Like we help people and we interact with the people and we engage with the discussions with the people. Even in those moments, we can cultivate positive thoughts. Okay. After cultivating positive thoughts, we can make our mind peaceful. You might have some understanding about what is peace of mind. Normally, people say when it comes to peace of mind, how do you normally define peace of mind? Can somebody give me an example? How do you explain if somebody asks you what is peace of mind? What actually peace of mind? Sometimes when I ask my friends what is peace of mind, people say, okay, peace of mind is mindfulness. Peace of mind means living in the present moment. Peace of mind is when people always are nice to us. Peace of mind is family. Peace of mind is reading a book. Peace of mind is watching a movie. Peace of mind, like that, there are many definitions. Okay. But when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, Buddha say peace of mind is this.
Equanimity.
What?
Equanimity.
Yes, equanimity. That's a good answer, equanimity. But actually, peace of mind is this, according to the Buddha's teachings. He say, kusala chittassa ekaggata is samadhi. Samadhi means actually the peace of mind, concentration. And that is kusala chittassa ekaggata. Kusala chitta means, kusala means skillful, good thought, positive thought. Kusala chittassa ekaggata means focus. Focus to a good thought is the peace of mind. Focus to a good thought is a peace of mind. Now, let's say you go to your work. Now, can we focus to a good thought while we do our work? What do you think? Well, we can try. If we try to focus to a positive thought during our work or wherever we are, we can concentrate our mind. It is not that we need always to do breathing meditation while we are working and we won't be able to do that. So we are in pain, so there's no way to concentrate the mind. No. Buddha say, peace of mind is focused to a positive thought. Now we are living with the people, we are talking with the people, and we exchange our thoughts. Can we focus to a good thought on those moments? This is the biggest problem we have. Actually, that is, we cannot understand what is a positive thought and what is a negative thought. What is a good thought and what is a bad thought. That is the most difficult thing to do. How can we know what is positive and what is negative? What is good and what is bad? How do you know that? Because sometimes people say, no, you need jealousness. It's okay. You need anger. It's okay. But we already learned, no, it is negative. Now, how can we focus to a good thought and let go and bad thought? Can you give me an example for a positive thought?
Loving kindness, Bhante.
Yes, loving kindness is a positive thought. Okay. Now, what is the loving kindness means? What is the meaning of loving kindness? Now, we are finding our mind to focus. Do you believe that you have loving kindness thoughts in your heart? What do you think? No doubt, we have loving kindful thoughts. Okay. Now, what is loving kindness? That is what I wanted to know. What is loving kindness?
It's a wholesome thought, Bhante.
Yes, it's a wholesome thought, but how do you explain? Because normally these are the words that we talk, but in real life, how we can find it inside of us? So to focus to that. So what is the feeling it carries? What are the qualities it has?
Yeah, and it's a feeling of sort of expansion in your heart area towards somebody else, and sort of wanting the things that make you happy for that person, and not wanting the things that hurt you and cause you suffering, and you don't want that person to suffer
Exactly.
either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. That is how we recognize the positive thought. When there is a positive thought, it should not hurt us. It should not hurt others. Both should be benefit from a positive thought. That is how we can know this is a positive thought. Now, what you should do is to focus to that positive thought. Literally, which means you are growing that. you are growing more of those thoughts, positive thoughts. Even at a stranger, let's say we don't know who is, but they might come to us for a help because we are doing the work. Let's say I'm in the reception or somewhere, so that person asks for something. So then I can cultivate a positive thought at this person. Okay, because of that, because of my help, may this person increase inner peace and increase happiness, and may this person never fall into misery. May this person never fall into sadness. May this person enjoy life and grow in lifespan. May no harm come to this person, so that we can grow all the positive thoughts. And if we did that correctly, our mind become peaceful. Okay. Even when we are making a tea, let's say I am making a tea for a loved one, in that moment I can think good qualities about that person. We can think positive thoughts about that person. Okay, whoever received this tea, whoever received this food, grow in lifespan, grow in health, grow in beauty, grow in knowledge, grow in wisdom. So we are cultivating positive thoughts. No matter whoever, whatever that person does, it's not a problem, because all we need is to find some opportunities in our day-to-day life to cultivate. Whenever we see a man or a woman or an animal, whatever, a being, it's an opportunity for you to be alert, to cultivate a positive thought. So then you can make your mind peaceful. Have you ever found somebody said to you, okay, because of my loving kindness, I cannot sleep, I cannot eat, I cannot bathe, I cannot do any work, I feel so defeated, my body is so tired. Or have you found somebody said to you, I got angry at that moment, I was so stressed, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't smile, I couldn't talk to anyone, I cannot bathe, I cannot eat, I couldn't sleep. There are such moments people come to us and tell, because of angry thought I was so stressed. But I haven't found anyone who said to me, because I thought about the well-being of that person, that I'm suffering. Okay. So when we think these positive thoughts, if the mind reaches to a stillness, focus, that is called the peace of mind. Kusala chittasya ekaggata. You might think, okay, I think positive thoughts and that's it. My mind will be peaceful. No. When your mind is peaceful, you open up another realm, open up another big area of your mental cultivation, that you go to step into a very big world, inner world, that every other positive thoughts flows to your mind effortlessly. Now we might have to generate again and again positive thoughts. With tiredness, it might be difficult. What do you think? Doing loving kindness meditation, is it easy? No, it is not easy. When we sit down now, body is tired. We fall into sleep. And yeah, flies, mosquitoes. And again, we try harder and harder to be awake. Okay. To go to the positive thoughts. But once you focus to the positive thoughts, it will start to flow easily. If you do this fight, if you battle in this, if you win your battle inside, every other wholesome thoughts, skillful thoughts easily flow to your mind. After that, you can easily, like, I have friends who've said to me, like, even in my life, I have found some moments that I hated going. There were places that I didn't want to go because there were a lot of work that I didn't like it. While I was a household, like while I was young, and before I becoming a monk, I remember I went to some places, so many work. So I think, okay, this place I should avoid because I don't want to engage, so I cannot meditate. Then Elder Bhante said to me, no, you grow positive thoughts. Then after that, when I cultivated positive thoughts, even the Bhante say, no, no, you should not go there. I cannot stop going there. Why? Because I found so much inspiration together with the people living in that moment. Because everyone, when I see, I have a chance to cultivate a positive thought. So the work became so easier. Body becomes so relaxed. And after going back to the house, beautiful sleep. And in the next day, I'm going to see these beautiful people. I don't know if they carry angry. I don't know. I cannot do anything for that. But what I can do is to make my mind, our mind peaceful by cultivating positive thoughts. And we don't even say that, okay, to the other people, okay, you know what? I'm thinking positive thoughts about you. We don't say like that, but it's a secret practice. We do it to ourselves, and our mind becomes so peaceful. That's how we can find the peace of mind during the work.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Could you please, could you please, I'm gonna be greedy here. Can you please tell us examples of positive thoughts you think about people? Let's say someone particularly is difficult or annoys you. Can you give us just a real life example
Yes.
of what kind of positive thoughts you think
Yes.
about somebody who's difficult, who's doesn't like you,
Yes. Actually, I don't believe sometimes people, in my perspective, I don't believe people inherently bad, people inherently ugly or unpleasant. What I think normally is that because of their thoughts, that they become bad. It's because of their own thoughts, not inherently that being is a bad person, but because of misleading of the thoughts, that person fall into misery and acting as an enemy to others. That's actually because that they didn't know how to focus to the positive thoughts. That's the problem that person has. But if that person at some point let go that negative thought, then that person again can be a good person. That person live happily and abandon anger if that person control the thoughts. Now the true enemy actually is the angry thought, not an individual. It's a thought inside of us and of others which make a bad person. Now, the problem here is that, like we learned, the inability to know which is positive, what is positive, what is negative. Sometimes people misinterpret the positive things as negative and negative things as positive. It is said that the anger is like, it's said it is like a darkness. When one's mind occupied by the anger, it is like that person went to a dark room, doesn't see who is good, who is bad. Normally, when angry enters to the mind, we don't see who is respected, who are the good people. Let's say my mother and father, they are need to be protected, they are need to be respected. But when anger enters to the mind, we don't see because mind is so much in darkness. It is not always the time to tell others that you are getting angry at me, so you should not be angry. So that can make that person more angry if we go to instruct that person. So we can find some opportunities to help those people to let go the angry thoughts, but it should be a mindful approach, but not an instant drive. It should not be an instant approach, but a calm and mindful approach. We can stay calm, and when there is a moment, we can do that discussion. You got angry. It might be because of this and because of that. So let's talk about that. Then we should not get angry because angry is tired to you and to me. So let's let go that, and we can do a proper discussion. But in the other moments, most important is to protect our mind. Okay. It is said that by the Buddha, when one protects oneself, that person protects the other person too. Let's say that I don't get angry in a moment that we are clashing. But I don't get angry, but other person only get angry. So the problem stop. But if I tell something as a reaction, that will burn both sides and doesn't know where it leads to. For an example, to think, may no harm come to this person, is a good way to think. And we think again and again, may no harm come to this person, may no harm come to this person. So we cannot talk a bad word to them when we think, may no harm come to this person. Okay. We fail to think an angry thought about them when we think no harm come to this person. Only just a single thought, if we think that. What we lack is our focus. That is why we feel it is not enough. We feel, okay, just thinking no harm come to that person, would that really gonna help? Actually, that helps. But we don't see it is helping because we lack the focus to that thought. Yes. Yeah, I remember I was in a certain monastery. There was 100 monks, and me and another group of friends was the people who served the Bhantes. This hurt me because I had to wake up in the 4 a.m. and should work until the 4 p.m. Cooking and making food and preparing the dishes and cleaning the dishes and making the fruits to the Bhantes. And every Bhante receives a fruit plate. So we got to make 100, 200 because one was closing the other plate. So 100, 200 plates to wash every day and then to cut all the pieces. And it's a lot of work. But later, because of a guidance by the elder Bhantes, said us, think about the good qualities other people have. There can be thousands of bad things people have, but only focus to the good part. Only think the good part. So that was the meditation that he taught to do out of the cushion. So every day we used to think about one quality by one quality of the monks. Like this Bhante teach me discipline, this Bhante teach me suttas, this Bhante teach me how to clean, this Bhante teach me how to raise the food plate while it's offering, not up, not down like this. So used to think one by one, while we get a break time, while we preparing the food, we think, okay, oh, this Bhante, okay, that Bhante. We see them, so we can think. So it is like sending love from distance, one by one. So at the end of the day, 100 good thoughts, 100 good qualities. Do you think that after the end of the day, it gets you so much restlessness, like regret? Oh, I had a very bad day? No. Why I had to work? Why I had to go to serve the monks? No. Why? Because that came from in within. it came from inside with the power of the positive thoughts. So those are called the positive thoughts. And then there are moments that we serve the food to the alms bowl using the spoon. So we think, okay, whoever received this food through this hand may have long life after consuming the food. May this person have beauty after eating this food. May this person have inner happiness, and may this person have relaxed body. May the hunger go away because of this work. And let's go to the sutta. We have only a few minutes. 10 perception, the perception of impermanence, perception of non-self, perception of unattractiveness, perception of danger, perception of abandoning, perception of dispassion, perception of cessation, perception of non-delight in the entire world, perception of the impermanence of all formations, and mindfulness of in and out breathing. Okay. Now, we talk this one in Pali. Pahāna Saññā. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one. Let's see. 3, 4, fifth one. Okay, this talks about cultivating a certain perception. We talked about what is perception means. That is actually that we perceive things, and we learned that it is distorted. And according to the teaching, it says that you can develop a perception to abandon your bad thoughts, to abandon negative thoughts. Now, according to the teachings, there are three main and three powerful negative thoughts. So this talks about abandoning those powerful negative thoughts. How we know this is negative? By the teachings of the Buddha. Out of faith that we believe, okay, these should be negative thoughts. Okay. Now this is how the Buddha say how to cultivate that. I will only go to the English part. And what Ananda is the perception of abandoning. Abandoning means abandoning bad thoughts. Here in Ananda, a monk does not tolerate an arisen sensual thought. Okay. Herein, Ananda, a monk does not tolerate an arisen sensual thought. He abandons it, destroys it, dispels it, terminates it, and obliterates it. That's the practices one does when they develop the perception of abandoning. There is a sensual thought. Actually, sensual thought means whatever the thought connected to the enjoyment of the sense objects. Like seeing a food, we make such a sensual thought. It is not bad thinking about the food, but when we think more greedily about the thoughts, about the food, make us more distracted in our mind. For an example, let's say we are in a meditation, it's not time to think about the food. What does is that they abandons it, destroys it, dispels it, terminates it, and obliterates it. Okay. He does not tolerate an arisen thought of ill will. He abandons it, destroys it, dispels it, terminates it, and obliterates it. Okay. He does not tolerate an arisen thought of harming. He abandons it, destroys it, dispels it, terminates it, and obliterates it. Okay. Finally, conclusion. He does not tolerate any arisen evil, unwholesome thoughts. He abandons them, destroys them, dispels them, terminates them and obliterates them. This ananda is called the perception of abandoning. If you were to develop this successfully, you can let go any reason, evil, unwholesome thought. Okay. If you cultivate this correctly, you can easily let go negative thoughts, evil, unwholesome thoughts. By the names, it can be a sensual thought, ill will means anger, or it can also be a harming thought to another. So one abandons them. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me how they abandon that? What to do to abandon that? Have any thoughts in that?
I think first we have to recognize it first.
Yes, according to the sutta. Okay, let me show you the sutta again. Okay, looking at the sutta here, can you see something special practice as it says? When one found a bad thought, what they do? Let's see the Pali part. This one, uppannam vyapada vitakkam nadi vaseti pajahati vinodeti vyanti karoti anabhavam gameti. Uppannam vyapada vitakkam, which means a reason, angry thought, ill will thought. Nadi vaseti. What is the meaning of this in English?
Does not tolerate, Bhante?
Yes, nadi vaseti means does not tolerate and a reason thought of ill will. What does that mean? Let's say you get angry. So what you do is that you don't tolerate anger. Isn't that beautiful? Which means you don't let it grow. Whenever possible, you catch that and you don't tolerate that. You are not happy by having it in your heart. But what normally we think when an angry thought enters to the mind? Do we tolerate or does not tolerate? We think, okay, justice. Okay, justice, okay, justice. No, I'm not a bad person. That person is bad. Don't we? Do we try to solve the problem with the anger? I mean, motivated by the anger, don't we try to fix the problem without cutting it off from the root when we get into anger? What do we do? Well, including myself, not to feel sad, including myself, whenever we get angry, do we tolerate or not tolerate?
We usually tolerate, Bhante.
Yes, but in the abandoning perception, what one does is that does not tolerate. Whenever angry thought comes to them, they think, no, this is not good to me. I should let it go. I will talk with the person later, but now I should not get burned. I will let it go. Do you like to keep the fire, a little fire inside? Even a little simple fire? Just a little. No, we don't like even a little bit of fire. But if we don't cure that, let's say our head is on fire, or our clothes are on fire, somebody tell us, look, you're burning. Do we tolerate that? Or it's just a little bit of fire in my hair, it's a little bit fire in my clothes. I will take care about that later. Or we do our best to extinguish the fire. normally when it happens to our body, we do our best to extinguish the fire. So the same way, when the fire arises inside as anger, what one does is to not to tolerate. If somebody were to tell you in a moment that you are in anger, you say, okay, I got angry, just hold on. First, I will shut this angry fire, and I will talk to you later. That would be a good, good practice. Because sometimes we don't know what we speak with anger. Okay? Does not tolerate an arisen thought of ill will. He abandons it, destroys it. Is it possible to destroy anger? What do you think?
Yes, Bhante, that's the Buddha said.
Yes. Anger is not permanent. You can break that and dispels it, terminates it. Obliterate means you don't let it arise again. Okay. Those are very wonderful teachings. Like there were such practitioners who did this practice over 2000 years. So they used to do this. Okay. For a simple way to understand it is like this. You plant a seed and it will grow. Let's say that you cut the tree and then it falls down. But if the root is still there under the ground, it can later sprout back, and build and grow into the highest tree like that before. It's because that we didn't uproot the root. But if somebody uproot the root, it won't grow again. So the practice here is the perception of not tolerating that angry thought and trying to find the root causes and uproot that. So you don't get any more angry thought later. This can be a lifelong practice, but if we start today, we can easily practice this. And what is the perception means here? What do you think? Why it is a perception? Because the other days you used to perceive it as permanent. You never tried to not tolerate, but you tolerated. We tolerated that. But after cultivating it as a perception means the after that, when you go to the future, you will see that with the same knowledge that you developed and you perceive, okay, this is anger again arisen in me. Oh, this is not to be tolerated. So now you carry a positive perception. Whenever you get angry thoughts, you easily let go. Okay, thank you so much for joining. For further reading, find what is the name of the sutta?
Girimananda.
Girimananda Sutta.
Girimananda.
Girimananda Sutta. 10 perceptions. Okay. Okay, let's share the merits. May all the beings, especially may all the devas, rejoice in our good merits. May they have long life, happiness, health, and beauty by the power of this merit. May all those devas be able to attain the peace of mind. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And may all our departed relatives rejoice in our merits. May they rejoice in our merits. May they soon attain the peace of mind. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And may all our teachers and all my teacher Bhante and Jivananda Bhante and all the other Bhantes rejoice in our good merits. May they soon attain the peace of mind. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next, let's share the merits with all those who joined with us to the discussion. May you rejoice in these good merits, good actions. May you have long life, happiness, health, and beauty. May your family, your loved ones, your relatives, your friends rejoice in these good merits. May all of you have long life, happiness, health, and beauty. And may every one of us be able to attain the perfect peace of mind, the Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Bhante. We usually end with sharing merit with Bhante and ask for forgiveness if we have done anything improper during the session.
No,
Please
you
allow
didn't.
us.
Okay.
Please allow us to do that, Bhante. Okasa wandami Bhante.
Supatiwa.
Maya katang punyang sa amin na ano mo di tabang.
Sadhu anumodami.
Sa amin na katang punyang may hangda tabang.
Sadhu anumodate.
Sadhu sadhu anumodami. Okasa dwarate na katang sabbang yang kamatami Bhante.
Kamami kamitambang.
Okasa kamami Bhante.
Supatiwa.
Tutiyampi okasa kamami Bhante. Tatiyampi okasa kamami Bhante.
May you soon able to attain the peace of mind.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
May
Thank you.
Bhante also soon realize the Four Noble Truths. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
Anumodana Bhante.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Welcome.
Everyone,
friends.
Sarana Swamina.
Everyone, Saranai.
Thank you.
Bhante, Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo.